All right, welcome to the debut episode of the People's Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Doug By, and I'm here with my good buddy Mike Rossi. Mike, how you doing?
I'm good. What's going on, Doug?
Not too much. Um, so we want to emphasize from the start here that we're not pros, right? We're not experts. We're doing this for fun.
Oh
We're
yeah,
doing this to have fun. We might have a slight unhealthy obsession with football and fantasy football in general, and
there's two people in particular that would share that point of view.
that would agree with that being our significant others. And so yeah, we're doing this for fun, and hopefully people can, we know a lot about it because we're so obsessed with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But again, we're just doing it for fun, and hopefully some people can get some decent advice out of it.
Yeah. I think our point of views are going to come from an aspect of they're researched, but they're not stat driven.
Not as
And I
much.
think people I think people like that. I think they want the human element of fantasy football, and that's what we're here to give. Another aspect that I'll bring to it is that obviously we're not getting paid for this. We don't have a live studio to do this.
No.
I'm in my basement. You're in your living room.
Yeah.
You
This is
have a
very
wife. I have a
raw.
fiance. We have kids. It's raw. If you hear background noises, it's all part of the play.
Just go with it.
Exactly.
All right. So on today's episode, we're gonna do a mock draft. We're gonna do a live mock draft, and we've decided to pick each other's position of draft, right? To kind of shake it up a little bit. So, where are you putting me?
Well, this is now our what third recording of this,
Yeah,
and the first two a little choppy. We're working through some technical difficulties.
we're not
But
techie guys. We're trying to
no,
figure
we're
this thing
not
out.
techie guys. We're fantasy guys.
Yeah,
And the first two, I had you going to, you had me going in spot two. I mean, spot 10.
10. Yeah.
Uh, because of that, I know my team at spot 10. I want to see your team at spot 10.
Okay. All right. I like it. So I know what you did at 10. We'll see what I can do at 10. And so for you, I'm going to have you go at 7. And the reason for that is because,
I know the reasoning. I
yeah,
already know the reasoning.
we talked about it a little bit. I know you have a top 5 that you love.
Yep.
Um, but one of those guys might sneak to 6.
Yeah.
One of those guys is probably not going to sneak to
One
7.
of those guys usually does sneak to
One of
six.
those guys usually does sneak to 6. So we're going to do 7 and see what happens.
All right.
All right,
I'm ready when you are, Doug.
let's get it rolling. All right. So Justin Jefferson went first, which that's where I would go. I think he's the safest pick this year. Um, Austin Eckler went 1-2. Christian McCaffrey went 1-3. Jamar Chase 1-4. Travis Kelce 1-5. And Cooper Kupp 1-6. And Michael, where are you going to go with this?
So your play of giving me 7 because I love the top 5 instead of giving me 6
It
paid
worked
off.
out. Yeah, it did.
It worked out because Travis Kelce is not in my top 5. He went 5th. I would have loved Cooper Kupp at pick 6, but he's not available at 7. So touche there. At pick 7, I'm going high upside. Um, I want exciting, and I think Bijan Robinson gives you that exciting. Tyreek Hill is also an option here who gives you exciting. But they picked Bijan pick 8. And to prove the haters wrong that say a running back can't be picked that early, they're going to utilize him. I think they have a good offensive line. I think they have weapons other than him, like Jake London and Kyle Pitts, that are also unproven but need to prove themselves. And I think he can get it done. I don't think he's going to be the bell cow there. I think Algier still gets some work, but I think they're going to utilize him in ways other than just strictly out of the backfield. He's going to get his, and I'm willing to take that risk at pick 7.
Yeah, there's a ton of draft equity there that um, the Falcons are going to have to use him. I still think that him being the third running back taken off the board, I think you're drafting him at a ceiling, but what do I know? I said I wasn't an expert. So.
No, I am. That you can't get much higher than running back 3. So
yeah. All right. So after Bijan Robinson, Tyreek Hill went at 1-8, Jonathan Taylor went at 1-9, and now it's my pick. And so going through this, I'm gonna go.
pick 10. Who's still available in your first round guys? Who are you happy with here?
So I wouldn't mind Saquon here. I think that's kind of a safer pick. And I think that might be where I go because I'm hoping another guy comes back to me.
It's just me and you, dog. You can tell me who that guy is. You got the next pick.
Right. So I'm thinking about picking Saquon here, and I'm hoping that Nick Chubb gets back to me.
Okay. So you're going running back to start.
I'm gonna try to.
Hoping to go running back.
Hoping to, because honestly, I would like Chubb here. I would take Chubb here. I would take him over Barkley, but I'm just thinking that maybe he'll fall back to me.
Yeah, if you go Chubb then Barkley, if you go Chubb first, Barkley doesn't get back to you. If you go Barkley first, there's a chance because he's so undervalued right now that Chubb gets back to you.
Exactly.
This scenario, I'll let you do the speaking, but
so in this scenario, AJ Brown went 111, CeeDee Lamb went 112, Stephon Diggs went 2-1, and right before my pick, Nick Chubb went 2-2. So that kind of squashed my plans a little bit. And what I'm gonna do instead, I'm gonna go Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Because
I like that.
To me, they're very similar.
Yep.
I think Henry, he's just a different kind of machine. I don't think that his age is going to be so much of a factor. I just have Chubb ranked a little bit higher, but I don't mind Henry as a consolation prize.
I mean, you pick Derrick Henry there. You can't hate that pick. The guy is just incredible. He's a beast of a player, of a human. But my issue with that is what's around him. And you have 3 pieces in Tennessee. You have Tannehill, you have Henry, and hopefully Treylon Burks. And if one of those 3 pieces either gets hurt or doesn't perform, you're screwed. So I like Derrick Henry, but I think the risk of the team being bad, it's a tough play.
There's a risk of that offense not being too great. But on the flip side of it, Derrick Henry is such a focal point of that offense that I'm hoping that he had 33 catches last year, which is more than he usually he's in the teens. I'm hoping that they go that way again because they don't have many other playmakers.
Yeah, I think he's proven himself out of the backfield as a catcher. Like he can catch it. And when you get the ball in his hands when he's already moving that fast, it's tough to bring him down, especially when he's outside with the cornerbacks and the safeties.
Yeah, you get him in an open field, they don't want to tackle him.
Yeah.
All right. So after Derrick Henry, Patrick Mahomes went 2-4. Amon-Ra St. Brown went 2-5. And then it's back to you, Mike.
So
what are you thinking?
At this point of the draft, there's really only one player that I like. Well, I mean, I like other players, but there's only one player that I'm drafting, and it's Tony Pollard. I am just obsessed with Tony Pollard this year. I'm an Eagles fan, and I'm obsessed with Tony Pollard this year.
Says a lot.
Saying something.
Yeah.
I mean, Devontae Adams is there, Josh Jacobs. There's your QBs of Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts if I wanted to go that route. Jalen Waddle, Garrett Wilson. There's all types of options available. But I think out of all of them that's available, I think Tony Pollard has the highest ceiling. In my opinion, he can end the season as the RB1, RB2. Is Ashley home?
Ashley and Lucas just walked in.
Hi, Ashley. Hi, Lucas. But I really think that Tony Pollard has the offense. I mean, the offensive line in Dallas is always good. He has Dak can throw the ball, which obviously leads to teams being more spread out. And Tony Pollard, he's proven himself. He's not a backup. So I'm gonna take the chance on Tony Pollard here and hope that he's the breakout that I think he's going to be. Hi, Lucas.
Say hi. Yeah. I know you're all about Tony Pollard. So
Let me, you know what, I'm going to tell the next picks here.
all right, go
So
ahead.
after Tony Pollard, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, Mark Andrews, Josh Jacobs, and Josh Allen to round out the second. And then headed into the third with T. Higgins, Jalen Hurts, Breece Hall, Devontae Smith, Chris Olave, and Stevenson leading back into my pick.
Which I think
All
is
right.
a steal right there, by the way. Stevenson right before
Oh.
your pick. You know the way I feel about him. I mean, I'm a homer with that, but if they don't get anyone else in that backfield, he's a workhorse. You know,
and I think that's the question with Steven, with Ramondre,
that
right?
is right now in the drafts. That's the question.
Where in July,
Yeah,
you still have Zeke, you still have Cook, you still have Fournette, you have all these running backs as free agents. Is he going to be the only guy there come September? But you're absolutely right. In the middle of the third round to get Ramondre, that's value all day. But heading into my pick, I would have loved to see either Devonta or Chris Olave get back to me. I went running back with Bijan and Pollard in my first two picks. I need receiver here. With all three quarterbacks gone that I would draft early, particularly not Mahomes, but Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts gone. I'm going wide receiver. So let's take a look at the wide receivers available. If a particular person didn't drop to me, I think I would go Calvin Ridley here and take the chance on him being what he was before his suspension. But in this instance, DK Metcalf fell to me. And I mean, he's proven over and over again that he's just a beast. He's the red zone guy. Geno loves him, and he's going to get his. So I'm going DK Metcalf.
Yeah, that's a good pick. DK, and I think he's going to have some positive touchdown regression this year as well. For a guy his size, I want to say he was in the single digits of touchdowns last year. Do you know?
Last year he was. I think the year before he was not.
Okay. All right. So after DK went Travis Etienne at 3.8, Kenneth Walker at 3.9, and then back to me here. So again, I have the two running backs. I need to balance out my team the best I can here as well. But there's a guy that fell as well to me.
That's always a tough one on the live
tough.
drafts.
You know, there's Najee Harris there, who I'm not in love with, but in the third round late like this,
yeah, that's value.
That's a lot of value. You know, the quarterbacks that are there, there's Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Justin Fields. I could try to hope that one of those guys gets back to me.
I think you have two teams after you. So if you're playing the odds, most likely they're going to. But if they're both QB hungry in the third round, then you're screwed.
There's that as well. I think I need a wide receiver here, to be honest with you. I'm going to go Keenan Allen. I think he's going to get a ton of targets in that offense. So only
not my favorite pick.
Not your favorite pick.
No.
Explain.
I mean, they drafted Quentin Johnson, obviously. Mike Williams is the hit or miss guy. I mean, Keenan Allen is the PPR guy, right? And we're doing this draft. I don't think we mentioned it. We're doing it as a
we're doing half PPR. Yeah.
So if this was full PPR, I like that pick in round 3. But in half PPR, I'm not picking Keenan until late 4.
Okay.
Just because he's his value comes in his catches. He's not going to be the big play guy. In the red zone, they're looking either Eckler out of the flats, or now they have two big guys to throw it to. I just don't see him getting touchdowns.
Yeah, that could be true. I mean, Eckler is a huge fantasy guy. He loves Keenan this year.
He loves fantasy in general.
He loves fantasy in general. That's what I'm saying. He loves Keenan this year. I think Justin Herbert could throw for 5,000 yards this year. I mean, I think he could have a huge bounce back.
That's aggressive.
It's aggressive, but I like Keenan Allen. So after me, Aaron Jones went 311, Najee went 312, Joe Burrow went at the turn at 4-1, Jahmyr Gibbs 4-2.
And it worked out for you.
It worked out for me for who I was kind of wanting here. And I'm going to go Lamar Jackson because I want one of those top quarterbacks. You know the way I am about quarterbacks this year. I think you're at a huge disadvantage if you don't get one of those top 7 or 8 guys. And Lamar has that potential to be a top 3 quarterback.
Yeah.
So if he has a good year next year, I think he's right there. So after Lamar, Deebo Samuel went 4-4, Amari Cooper went 4-5, and then we're back to you, Mike.
So I mentioned it when I picked DK. If he wasn't available, I was going to take this guy. He slid to me in round 4, and I'm going Calvin Ridley. My reasoning behind Calvin, and I'm all about when I'm drafting my team, I want the highest ceiling, even if it comes with the lowest floor. Yeah. I don't care about the lowest floor. I'm in here for one reason. There's 12 people in this league. I want to win a championship.
Right.
And in order to do that, you have to have the people on your team that have the highest ceiling, and that's Calvin Ridley. He's the number 1 on a team that is expected to pass more, and a third-year Trevor Lawrence that's projected as far as fantasy value to be that guy. There's no way he's a complete bust. He's going to be something, but I think he has the potential to be the complete number 1 on that team.
Yeah, he's, an up and coming Trevor Lawrence. He could be the number 1, but like you said, he's got a lower floor than some of them, which is why I went Keenan Allen for my number 1 receiver, because I think he's got a pretty high floor.
Yes. Oh, yeah, of course. He's going to catch balls.
So after Calvin Ridley, Justin Herbert went 4-7, Joe Mixon, J.K. Dobbins, Justin Fields, Miles Sanders, George Kittle at the turn at 4-12, DeAndre Hopkins at 5-1, Terry McLaurin 5-2, James Conner 5-3, T.J. Hockenson, Damian Pierce, DJ Moore, and then back to you again, Mike. And round 5. And again, just to recap, you have Bijan Robinson, Tony Pollard. So you got your 2 stud running backs. After that, you went DK Metcalf, Calvin Ridley.
So here I'm torn between a few people. There's only a couple tight ends that I like left. Again, I like playing the game of ceiling, and Kyle Pitts has that ceiling. So he's available for me to take. But I think there's another tight end that I like that can get back to me. So I'm going to pass on Kyle Pitts for now. Again, at wide receiver, same team. I love Drake London. He has that potential. And I also love Jerry Jeudy. Not saying that Russell Wilson is going to be that guy again, but I don't think he's going to be as bad as he was.
He can't.
And Jerry Jeudy,
it's not possible.
Really and Jerry Jeudy he's just a talented guy. He runs crisp routes. He's absolutely ripped. He's gonna get his this year. That being said, I'm gonna go a different route. I don't like later round running backs this year, so I'm gonna get my running backs while I can. And again, I'm going high ceiling. I'm going the guy that has the potential to be the workhorse of the offense. I'm going Cam Akers.
Okay, I love that pick. I was hoping Cam Akers was going to get back to me. So I'm a big fan of that pick because he's going to be the guy there. he was top 5, I want to say, running backs in the last like 6 or 7 weeks of the season last year. He really came on. So it took him a little while, but he really came on. I think he's being slept on a little bit. All right. So after him went Dalvin Cook at 5'8", Christian Watson 5'9", and then back to me again here. So again, I have Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Keenan Allen, Lamar Jackson. And my team's looking kind of old.
Yes. We're in 2023, right, Doug?
Yeah.
You're drafting a 2022 or 2020 team.
Sure am. So we were talking about Kyle Pitts. The 2 teams after me at 11 and 12 don't have tight ends, so I don't think he's going to get back to me. So I'm going to go there now. I'm going to go for the upside of him and hope that he's the difference maker at that position. Okay, so a lot of wide receivers went after that. After Kyle Pitts went Jerry Jeudy at 5'11", Drake London 5'12", Chris Godwin 6'1", and then another tight end, Dallas Goedert at 6'2". So that being said, I'm going to. I don't love what's out there right now. Got to be honest. In round 6, not loving what I'm seeing.
All the guys that I was hoping came back to me went in that short little span. So
yes, yeah,
I'm with you.
I was hoping Jerry Jeudy or Drake London got. Well, I didn't want Drake London because I just did Kyle, but I wouldn't have mind Chris Godwin even there.
There is one guy I'm eyeing right now.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm pretty thin at wide receiver with just Keenan Allen through 5 rounds. And I'm going to go with a little bit of upside with Hollywood Brown.
I like it.
I think, he's the only guy there right now. So.
Yeah. I was truly hoping that T-Law came back to me.
And after Marquise Brown, DeAndre Swift went 6'4". Oh, yeah. And right before you, went Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. So I don't know if the camera will pick up my wordage I used there, but I really, with Calvin Ridley in the 4th, I'm taking the chance on him. If you're taking the chance on Calvin, you're taking the chance on Trevor Lawrence. So
yeah, that would have been a good stack for you.
Yeah, I wanted him coming back. With him not being here, again, in my mind, there's 2 positions I can go. I like somebody at the tight end position. I like Darren Waller. I think he has the potential to be the Darren Waller that was being drafted in the 3rd round 2 years ago. But he's unproven with his injuries.
And the injuries are definitely a concern, I think.
They have to be with Darren Waller. Yeah. And also he's unproven on this offense. Can Daniel Jones be that guy to get him where he was when he was with Derek Carr? So I'm not going to take that chance right now. I'm going to take the guy that I think is on one of the best offenses in the league. I think he's hungry. He's undervalued, and he knows it. So he's out to play this year. I'm going Brandon Ayuk.
All right.
No reaction. Huh?
No, I'm sorry. I was getting distracted. I like the pick. I think that, he had over 1,000 yards last year. He had 8 touchdowns last year, I believe.
Around that.
There's a lot of mouths to feed on that offense. So, it's one of those things where when you're picking one of those guys, you're hoping he's going to be the guy. I actually do think he's a better receiver, like pure receiver, than Debo, but Debo
Debo's gonna get the ball whether it's in the pass or the rush. He demands the ball, and then once he has it in his hands, the guy is unstoppable.
Right.
But as far as route running and actually getting open, I think Ayuk has that talent.
He does. He was a 1st-round pick. They got the draft equity into him. He's got the talent. No question. So after him, Alexander Madison went 6-7. Mike Williams after that. Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, who I love him this year. He
Me
had
too.
0 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, he's going to have some serious positive regression. He also, as far as metrics goes, gets open more than any other receiver out there.
Yeah,
So
the Deontay Johnson, I don't think anybody questions how good he is, or maybe they do. Maybe they don't understand how open he can get. Like
he
the guy's
has
a
trouble
pure,
catching the ball and running after. So
but he's a pure route runner.
he's the best in the league,
And
probably, as far as that goes.
and the two questions are: can the guy throwing him the ball get it there? And if he does, can he catch it?
And run after.
So exactly,
Because
yeah.
his
So
yak yards have also been the bottom. So
I think if Kenny Pickett takes a step up, that's a value pick in the later sixth round right there.
agreed. After him went Tyler Lockett, then Michael Pittman at the turn into the 7th round, Rashad White, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Mike Evans, Alvin Kamara, Javante Williams, I'm sorry, Isaiah Pacheco, and then back to you at 7-7.
Good job with Jackson Smith and Jigba there.
And then I messed up
can tell
after that.
No,
Yeah.
you messed up with Javante Williams, which was tough. But as you can tell, that's a tough name to say sometimes. Your first time saying it live on camera. Well done, sir.
Yeah. All right. So Pacheco went 7-6. You're back on
My
the clock
pick
at
7-7. The guy that I thought about picking at 6-6 is still just sitting there for me. It's an easy pick. I already talked about it. If Daniel Jones can throw him the ball and injuries aren't a problem, this is possibly the steal of the draft. And I'm all about taking risk. You have to take risk, especially in a position where it's the top 3 basically or nothing. And maybe not that drastic, but you get my point.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I'm
it's really one or nothing. Most
exactly.
of the
Yeah,
time,
there's no one can compete with Kelsey.
No.
But I'm taking a guy in the 7th round that, if he's healthy, can compete as the tight end 2 this year. So I'm going Darren Waller.
That's a good pick. And you haven't had your quarterback or tight end yet. So you needed to draft one of those guys here pretty soon. So you got that. After that went David Montgomery, then Traylon Burks, and back to me. And that's unfortunate that Traylon Burks went right there because that's who I was looking at.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about him at 7-7 if Darren Waller wasn't there.
Yeah. He's high upside. I mean, he's got all the talent in the world. He's the number 1 guy there. There's no one else there behind him.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. They have no option. They're going to throw him the ball. And all reports are saying that he is the guy. Like, he's AJ Brown. He's the guy that they traded to get him. That's him. So hopefully it comes to fruition and he can be. I mean, if he is anything next to AJ Brown in his second year, that is one of the best picks of the draft in the 7th round. That's an all-day starter, wide receiver 2.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. So I'm looking right now at the draft board. I'm looking at team 12. They have 4 wide receivers right now. They have 1 running back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to play that game a little bit and think that this guy is not going to get back to me. So I'm going to go James Cook and hope for the upside with that. And hopefully he is the number 1 guy there. I also know he can catch the ball from college. And hopefully Josh Allen actually starts throwing to his running backs.
I just want to point out that team 12, you mentioned, they had 4 wide receivers. They went wide receiver.
Yeah. They followed up their 4 wide receivers with 2 more. So after James Cook went George Pickens at 7-11. At the turn, as you stated, they went Kadarius Toney and Jahan Dotson. That's who team 12 went with. And then at 8-2 went Dak Prescott, and then back to me again. And I'm trying to balance my team the best I can here. Um, but I'm not loving the wide receivers I'm looking at in this stage in the draft. So
Let me ask you a quick because he's not going to get back to me. Well, he might get back to me, but I don't need him. Give me your input on why Jordan Addison isn't a viable option for you right now.
so that's exactly where I'm going because I'm going
Okay.
upside.
Right.
So now I want the upside. Um, they're going to be double and triple teaming Justin Jefferson, so I think he's going to have ample opportunities there. So after him went David Njoku at 8-4, Pat Fryermuth at 8-5, and then back to you again. And I'm sure you love seeing two tight ends going right before you.
Yeah, with Darren Waller being my pick in the 7th round, I'll take tight end right before me. It's not a position I need. There's a few guys that stand out to me right now. I mean, I don't have a quarterback. Obviously, I need a quarterback. So let me take a look at the draft. And there's two teams that need a quarterback still. The guy I like is the 2nd ranked quarterback available. So I'm going to pick him here. But just to give a little insight, if that wasn't the case, I think Rashard Penny is undervalued in the 8th round to get who I think is the starting running back of the Eagles. He's the 1-2 back. If he's healthy, he's the best back in that backfield. I would love to have him on my team. But the way that this draft fell, I need a quarterback, and I'm going Tua. I'm taking the upside. People are all in on Tyreek. They're all in on Jalen Waddle. If you're all in on them two, you're all in on Tua at the same time.
Yeah, you kind of have to be.
You have to.
And you already have 3 really solid running backs. I don't think you needed to pick another running back there where you kind of needed to pick another quarterback. And 2 of them went right after you anyhow. So at 8-7, Evan Ingram went right after you. Then Anthony Richardson, Deshaun Watson, A.J. Dillon, Antonio Gibson at the turn, Zach Charbonnet. Then Brandon Cooks, Quentin Johnson, Gabe Davis, Rashad Penny. Did not get back to you. Almost Juju Smith-Schuster, and then right before you, Jamal Williams.
All right. So I have my team kind of set. Just to recap, I went Bijan, Tony Pollard, DK, Calvin Ridley, Cam Akers, Brandon Ayuk, Darren Waller, Tua, and I'm here. So I have 3 running backs, 3 receivers, a quarterback, and a tight end. So I can play the best available who I think can break out the most at this position.
In the 9th round, that's kind of where you're going at this point in time.
Yeah. And I'm going to take a guy that maybe isn't as high as some of the other receivers on this board, but has, again, that breakout capability. I'm going Elijah Moore. I think Deshaun Watson has to be better. He proved that ending the season last year that he was just getting back on his feet, and he kept getting better and better. He wasn't great for the Jets, but he didn't like playing there, and it was well known.
No, he was a malcontent for whatever reason
in New York.
Yeah,
and not to mention there wasn't a quarterback to throw him the ball. So him coming into Cleveland as the wide receiver 2, I think he has the potential to take over that wide receiver 1 role as Deshaun's favorite target. So in the 9th round, I'm taking that chance.
Yeah, there's good upside there, so I like that pick. So after Elijah, went Samaje Perine at 9-8, Michael Thomas at 9-9, and then back to me. And I'm doing the same thing. I mean, I'm trying to just go for upside here, right? So I'm going to go with another rookie and go Zay Flowers and hope that Odell is not Odell and maybe Bateman's still a little banged up.
But I think
go ahead.
I love Zay Flowers out of Boston College. He in any other team, I think he's perfect. But in a Lamar Jackson offense, I like the upside of Rashad Bateman. with him rolling out.
I mean, they're a toss up. Also me having Lamar Jackson, it's a little stack. It's a mini stack. It's not a big stack, but it's a mini stack. um, so yeah, we'll just have to see kind of where that goes, but you could be right about that.
All right. So
After Zay went Dalton Schultz at 9-11, Brian Robinson 9-12 at the turn, Kirk Cousins, Rashad Bateman, and then back to me again. And again, we're just looking for upside here, right? So I'm going to go with a guy who I think is going to be possibly the touchdown machine in Buffalo, but also I have the starter in Buffalo. So I'm going to go Damian Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Because hopefully one of those guys turns out to be the guy, and I have him.
Yeah, I don't hate that play. I personally think that James Cook is the guy. In the red zone, is Damian Harris as valuable on Buffalo as he was in New England? No.
Probably not with Josh Allen there.
Yeah, with Josh Allen obviously eating some of those carries and just plowing through for the touchdown himself. They had Dawson Knox already. They went out and drafted Dalton Kincaid, and Stephon Diggs is still a red zone master. The guy just catches touchdowns. So
yeah,
I don't think he's what did Damian Harris have last year? 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, but he didn't play a lot of games either.
Okay, so I just don't see him having that upside.
Probably not as much.
That being said, that's me thinking that James Cook has that role. If that's not the case, and Damian Harris proves himself as the better back, then in the 10th round, I don't mind taking that chance.
No. And then so after him went Jameson Williams, then Cortland Sutton, then back to you at 10-6.
All right, 10-6. I really wanted Jameson Williams here. I'm huge on Jameson Williams. I know we talked about this pre-recording.
Yeah.
You're out on Jameson Williams.
I am, just because of the suspension, and then they have a bye week, I believe week 8.
Yeah.
So you're kind of looking at 8 wasted weeks, but go ahead.
And I'm okay with, I mean, yeah, you're completely right. He's on your bench. You can't put him on the IR for 8 weeks. He's gone. But he's on your bench. And when you're picking him with round 10, you're not expecting him to come out and be somebody to begin with. And to have that value to push you into the playoffs and then lead you to a championship, he has that potential in the 10th round. So I was hoping he came back to me. That being said, I'm going to pick somebody else that I think has that same type of value. And it's Elijah Mitchell. So I'm going Elijah here.
Yeah.
The only reason why I'm picking him in the 10th round, and I think it's pretty obvious, is a handcuff. Because if CMC goes down, which isn't a long shot, I mean, he's known to do it.
No, he was healthy last year.
He's their guy. And there's no way that he's not going to propel you into the playoffs and into the championships.
I agree with that. So after him went Chigo Okonkwo at 10-7, Khalil Herbert, Daniel Jones, Devon Achane. One of them.
I've heard Achane.
Aaron Rodgers at 10-11, Geno Smith 10-12. At the turn, Cole Kmet, Dalton Kincaid, Jerick McKinnon, Odell Beckham, Russell Wilson, Allen Lazard, and then back to you at 11-7.
All right.
And just a heads up here, we're going to have to do a part 2 on this because we're almost...
we got 3 rounds left. How many minutes do we have left on this?
Less than a minute.
Less than a minute. So I don't think this needs a part 2. I'm just going to go. I'm going Jakobi Meyers. You make your pick. Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
We're almost at the end. Just make your pick and tell what it is.
I'm going to make it.
Board Kendry Miller.